How we doing? I've got the cam on for this one. We had to bring out the big guns just for this one. Oh my god. You know what time it is. So look, long story short, I've seen all of this. I've already seen it. This isn't a reaction. I've seen everything. I was up at 1 a.m. last night hoping to see, some Dragonov gameplay on Markman's channel, which I got and I was happy with. And just as I was about to, start packing it in, wrapping up for the night, along comes this video. Everything I've been waiting for like years. For anyone that knows me relatively well, they know how much I love this character. Um, which is, it's a bit weird to some people because everyone thinks he's boring and he's really bare bones, but this character is sort of what let me fall in love with the game. And it looks like I get to continue playing the way I love from what I've seen here. So I'm super excited. I'm going to go through, break down this entire trailer. We'll explain what's changed, what hasn't, and how this might be integrated into his game plan for Tekken 8. So let's get right into it. He does. First off, actually, shout out to Yakub D, who uploaded this video. They've uploaded so much content for every character, all kinds of move lists. So let's go through Shaheen bit by bit. I've been waiting for this stream for so long. You guys, you don't understand like how happy I am. Oh my god, I've been making jokes for like the last year and a half about this character just in chat. Like, oh yeah, Shaheen for Tekken 8, start that political campaign. So, holy smokes, we're here right now. We're about to do it. So let's go straight into it, shall we? So starting off on the move list, let's go through it. So I said basically, this is what's on every character. It's just telling you that when you're in heat state, your moves do chip damage on block. That's all. So it's just showing Shaheen do 1-2 over and over, and it's showing the chip. Nothing different here. And then I think this is just showing how you can do a heat dash off your heat engager moves. In this case, we get a bit of a spoiler. We see his back one being the heat engager, and he's able to get a combo off that. But nothing crazy yet. So this is his heat smash from standing. So it looks a bit like he's while standing too. So if we run that back. And, every character's got a mid-heat smash, but when you're playing a character with a full crouch game like this, yeah, I'm pretty sure you're able to execute this from crouch. So, when Shaheen is in heat state, you'll be able to go to crouch and do a plus 50 damage mid as your mix up to the slide, which is something else. That's crazy. That's so good. So I'll definitely be utilizing that. So his full crouch game, that's the first thing we're going to talk about. His full crouch game when he activates heat. We're going to be talking about this throughout the stream, but having 50 damage, that's plus into stance on block. I assume it's plus like everyone else. Oh my god. That's dangerous, man. Like, who's ducking into that? Not many people are ducking into that. So what else do we have? So this one, that's right, I do remember I translated this one. So these, I don't know if it's any more moves, but up forward 1, which is that jumping punch that he just did, running 2, and his sort of jet upper move. All of these, when you hit them in the heat state, they give you more time. They fill up your timer again. So not too bad. Up forward 1 and running 2 are probably the go-to here. I don't see you hitting much back forward 2 when you've activated heat, but the other two definitely can. So doing pressure with these, I don't know if up forward 1's going to be plus on block, but running 2 definitely will be. So having that pressure that can give you heat timer back, that's pretty good. Not bad. So those moves, yeah. Okay, so this is a new one. So this is an ability, he has access to this move, Al Ghul Master. It doesn't say it here, I'll say it later, but input is up 2 from crouch. However, it can be done from his stealth step as well, his stance. Because I don't have the game, I really don't know what this move's for. Because it's really weird. It's 18 frame startup, as you can see in the bottom left down here, and it's a high. So I don't know what it is. Like when you're in crouch, you're not really trying to threaten with highs. So the only thing I can think of is like maybe it's good tracking, or at least it's one of those moves that when they block it, you keep going. So you could probably go into crouch and check a counter hit timing with it. And then if they don't press, you're plus, I'm assuming. If it's not like that, then I really don't know what it's for. It's a regular hit launcher. It's like a crap electric, really, but I'm sure there's a use for it, but we don't know what that is right now. So let's watch that again. That's his new heat move. So he goes into crouch and sort of swipes the air. Jumping, will it go over lows? Clueless, no idea. But we'll see when the game comes out. Heat burst is second hit of 4-4, sort of swatch you down, just like everyone else, downwards, heat smash. So into the heat engages now, we've got down back 2-1. I think we did see this coming. I thought it might be too strong, but depending on how you look at it, it could be a nerf. We don't know what it does without the heat engager. Maybe it knocks down, but you know, fishing for this, not a bad strat. Let's see what it does on hit again. It knocks them down, so if that does happen at the wall, they're going to get wall splat and you're going to activate heat through the heat engager. So still strong, don't know what it does without the heat engager, but nothing's changed. You can see in the top right as well, down back 2 into down forward, just like Tekken 7, puts him into stance as well. So you can, you know, the mind game probably still not this, like super crazy, but if you haven't activated heat yet, the threat of hitting the heat engager is always there for the second hit. So you can play the down back 2 mind game a bit more in comparison to, say, Tekken 7, where you have to wait till you're in rage. So it's decent. It's decent. Great heat engager all around. And we'll see. You know, the other thing to question is this one of those heat dash moves that's going to be a launcher? Because if it is, you can just fish all day. Just fish. Try and shake their hand, just like you would with a rage drive. So we'll see. But no more down back 2-4, just the down back 2-1 now. We've got back 1. You know, this is something interesting about the Shaheen changes, because to summarize in Tekken 7, some of the weaknesses I think Shaheen had were his lack of sort of power mids. You know, he didn't really have a mid that is safe, that you can just spam, and if your opponent ducks, it's significant. He didn't really have that. He sort of had things that did a bit of damage, but nothing huge. And this game has given him so many huge mids now. He has so many huge power mids, as we're going to see. So one of his weaknesses, as is a common theme with Tekken 8, has been patched out. And now he's very strong. So we saw the back 1 launching with the heat dash before, but you can also fish for back 1 to get your heat as well. So not too bad. Another huge change. So Shaheen's move that was formerly forward forward 4 is now on one button, back 3+4. It's still armor like it was in Tekken 7, and it's a heat engager. So crazy buff, because Tekken 7, sorry, forward forward 4. You know, you want to be doing the power crush as a panic move. Hitting forward forward is like, all you'd really do in Tekken 7 is like get them around the wall and then try and get their timing and power through their timing with it. But on this game, it's just straight up a high power crush panic move sort of thing. So strong. You have access to a good power crush now. We've got up forward 1 as well, the new jumping move. Looks like you can hold down to go into crouch, I would think. I didn't translate that one, but that's what's implied. Startup is 24, which is similar to his orbital. So those, you know, really strong players that can sort of sniff out that timing, they're probably not going to duck into this as a mix-up. They might. You might catch some people with it, but I think you got to think of it like an orbital. That's a good point. It does do chip damage. So chip damage on block, pretty good, but 24 frames, you're not really going to be using this as a mid mix-up. You might be using it as a plus orbital in a way. But if your goal is to use this as a mid mix-up, good players aren't eating this, I think. So yeah, that's the heat engager there. Now, we're seeing two things here. So first, they've given the stance a giant get fucked mid. Just get fucked. Like, another thing they've done is, I don't want to call it a weakness in Tekken 7 because I don't think it made him weak, but in Tekken 7, his stance is not a mix-up stance. His stance is a counter hit stance, and you use the full crouch to do the mix-up. You get respect with the counter hits in the stance, and use the full crouch to get the mix. Not anymore. They've given... you can do whatever you want now. They've given this guy power mids and power lows off his stance, as I think we all expected. So, giant heat engager mid. Who knows what it's going to do? It looks like he's doing a Ginyu Force pose or something. But also important, stealth step is down forward 3+4. So, for all you Shaheen enjoyers that love to spam low parry by mashing down forward, you won't accidentally get the stance anymore like you would in Tekken 7 because the input was double down forward. So, crazy stuff. Like, and there's more reason. Like, once again in Tekken 7, I think it's like, a bit silly to do manual stance because your mix-up's not there. In this game though, manual stance is a thing. Going into manual stance is a thing. He's got access to some good moves from there. Now, if this is the one this is probably the most toxic move in the move list. So stealth step is already like a crazy stance. You have so many ways to like access it. You have down 3, down back 2 mental frame. There's a few other ones as well. So having the 40 damage hell sweep as the heat smash, he's got a mid heat smash and he's got a low heat smash from his stance. And his stance is good. Good luck pressing this. Oh, 20 frames. So that's like, that's something else. And I wonder how unsafe it really is. It probably isn't launch punishable. So, god damn, like, when Shaheen activates heat now, your brain has to think, when he's in crouch, he's got a huge safe mid, and when he's in stance, he's got a huge low. Like, you have to think about that stuff. And as the Shaheen player, that's the stuff you want to be enforcing. Like, I don't know how plus 2-3 is, but imagine, you've activated heat, and you punish someone with 2-3. They have to take the L on the heat smash. So it's crazy, man. And this is the rage art that's got the internet taken the internet by storm. Yeah, people really don't like it. I've seen it all over my Twitter timeline. Like, people just hate this rage art, but it's cool with me. He sort of does some Lars looking move. He points at you, sort of chops you, and then this dude just activates a Tony Hawk Pro Skater. He just Pro Skaters him. Like, in comparison to, say, other characters, is this rage art special? No, not really. Like, so many of the other characters have, like, these high budget, like, movie rage arts where, like, shit's flying everywhere and it's all cinematic and stuff, and like the less popular characters have like a few punches and a big punch and all of that. So this is the rage art that splits the nation right here. It splits the world. You either love it or you hate it. I think people have become too used to like seeing explosion shit and like cool cinematic anime, so they see Tony Hawk over here or Kelly Slater, whatever sport you prefer, and they don't like it. But hey, we're surfing out here. We're surfing, we're skating, we're snowboarding. Whatever you want, we're doing it. So let's get into the move list. 1-2, classic. 1-2-2, nothing's changed. Like, we don't know what it does on counter hit, unfortunately. We're not going to know that for a lot of these moves, but there it is, 1-2-2, still the same. And you're going to see, really, 1-2-3, that's going to be important. This move's going to be even more important than Tekken 7. So if you don't know, Tekken 7, 1-2-3, it's sort of a counter hit confirm, 10 frame, and it puts you in stance at heavy plus, which is what you want. This will be also thinking back to the stance low when you've activated heat. If your opponent wants to press out of your pressure, you can check them with 1-2-3, and if you get that counter hit confirm, they're guessing on that low now. So 1-2-3, incredibly strong as always, and even more so because we're going to see that the Magic 4 has been nerfed even further, as we expect, because they're moving away from Magic 4s in Tekken 8. It's a little bit worse in this game. You couldn't over-rely on it against really strong players on Tekken 7, but even less reason to use it now in this game. 1-2-3 is going to be all that more important, especially when your stance has so much more stuff, right? So this move really strong. 1-2-4 as well. Not too sure if it's going to have the same utility. 2-1 as well. +2, so it might still be -4 like it's in T7. I love this move. The second hit tracks really well, and it's a mid. It's one of those great tools if you don't know how to respond to your opponent's pressure. Just check them with a 10 frame and then a mid follow-up. Really good, and that he still has that. It's strong. Cool, so 2-3 is still here. That's his 10 frame. Still shitloads of damage. 28 into that stance with all the fucked up lows now. Like, this 10 frame was one of the best in Tekken 7 in my opinion. I could be over exaggerating, but it's up there is one of the best in Tekken 7, and in Tekken 8, like, you got so many more moves to play with, so still strong. There's his 3 for combos. And look, from the stream, if you watched it one time, you might not have noticed something. The move looks the same, right? That 4 is a little bit slower. And by a little bit, I mean 2 frames. If you just look in the bottom left there, it's 13 frames now. So Shaheen's Magic 4 strings, the string part, they're all the same, more or less. However, well, from what we know of, we don't know how it works on counter hit, but 13 frames now. 13 frames and a commit. So not particularly super strong, even weaker now than it was in Tekken 7, but I don't think you need it. I don't think you need this move. You can play without it. Yeah, sort of, super high level on Tekken 7, you have to play without it to an extent anyway. You have to check with 4-4 a lot. So 13, not so good, but it is what it is. He's got a lot of other good moves too. So we can see the whole series is here, even 4-4. Cool. So forward 2-3, this is what Sleep Talk was talking about. This is a pretty huge nerf. It went from being, in early Tekken 7, it was +9 standing up close. I think it was +9. In onwards in Tekken 7, it was a knockdown or a wall splat. But now it's +5 with a lot of pushback. So, you still have options as Shaheen here. Obviously, you're in advantage. You're +5, but not as easy to enforce with that gap. Do knockbacks like this wall splat? I don't think so. I think they're new tactics. I think they bounce off the wall and hold their back. So if you do this at the wall, you'll get the new tactic, but might be good to check with down 4 on the new tactic, but yeah, we'll see. Cool, so forward 2-4-4, more or less unchanged. Forward 2-4 into stealth step is still there. It was in Tekken 7, but it was not good. It went in really minus. It was garbage, so we'll see if they've changed that, but we don't know. Also, sorry, the forward 2-4-4 I saw in some gameplay. We'll see in the combos. It does that spiral animation. So not the tornado, the sort of one where they spiral and it's like a combo extender without bounding. It does that, so it might be in some combos. Forward 3, we don't know how good this move is until we see the counter hit, but in Tekken 7 it used to be a really strong counter hit tool. I don't see any homing sparks on it, so maybe the homing's gone. Forward 4, +25, looks like it's still going to be back 4 guaranteed here, but it doesn't hit them head towards, it hits them away. So yeah, this move is more or less the same. 15 frames, homing, we can actually use that to check forward 4. There you go, forward 4 is no longer homing, it seems. But this one is. Forward 3 +4 is still the same. Maybe you have to go to stealth step on this one. Maybe they've gotten rid of the transition. Could be. Yeah, but by the end of this video, I'll know how to speak Polish. Now, this was that was the peak moment for me right there. That was, yeah, it does. That was my peak moment. Seeing the safe down forward 2 that somehow has survived. That's all I need. I'm a safe down forward 2 spamming bitch. That's all I need. That's it. One thing I do want to, point out as well. The one thing we don't get to see is he's down forward 1, but I believe that's because it's not listed in the move list. I don't think it's like that in Tekken 7 either. So we don't see he's down forward 1. I imagine it's the same, but we'll never know. We don't see it. There might be gameplay footage out there somewhere, but we don't see it yet. But yeah, look at that. So my favorite silly move is back. Oh my god. Never change, Shaheen, never change. We've got down forward 3 as well. Once again, no ballerina stun. This will be new tactic on hit. Still 17 frames though, so obviously a great move. Still homing. I'm going to be using that a lot. Now, before we get into this blew my mind. They've given him strings of down forward 4. Now, this reminds me of someone. This reminds me of a character. So, let's break it down. We've got down forward 4 into mid. Also take note that the note says that after the first mid, you can actually go to stealth step. So, I don't know how threatening or unsafe that final mid's going to be, but there are mental frame mind games here now. So they're running with that a little bit more. But on top of that, we've got what seems to be a natural mid-high string. Was the first 2 hits natural of the mid-mid? I wonder. It looks like it, yeah. Maybe not the last hit, though. Yeah, so Who does this sound like? We've got a mid-high, natural, a mid-mid, natural, and a mid-mid-mid, where the third hit isn't natural. That sounds like Zafina to me. This sounds like Zafina's down forward one string. So, it reminds me of Zafina's down forward one, like heavy. Except you have a stance transition. It's like if Zafina could do down forward 1-2 Mantis. Um, yeah, it's a bit like Feng too, actually. I agree. It's like Feng's down forward 4 string. Yeah, no, everyone's right. It's very similar. So this is crazy. It's a new tool, and what I want to point out, especially with Mr. Kajeski in the chat, is that one of Shaheen's sort of, one of the things that wasn't super good about Shaheen is I feel like you didn't have many safe kicks to commit to if you were trying to option select punch parries and stuff like that. But now you have like more like a mid kick string. So if you're playing against like Steve, for example, and you think he might challenge with a punch parry, you have like a kick string to throw out. So that's more stuff. It's another weakness patch, but that's just how it is now. Down 2, unchanged. Down 3, still in the game, still 16. We don't know what they've done with the tracking on this, but still goes to stance. We'll see. We don't know how unsafe it is, but like if it still tracks, which I imagine it does, that's cheap because this move's cheap. So cheap, especially when you see what moves he has from the stance after, and you can notice he didn't do stance, but it's still 0, which implies that it's probably +4 in the stance like it is in Tekken 7 because it's 0 in Tekken 7 with no stance. Down 4, no different. Crunchy sound gone, big nerf, big crunchy sound nerf. But still there, still got that safe low poke, and depending on how plus some of your new tactics are, it might be good to check with that move because they can only punish with, I can imagine, 12. I don't think they're going to make it more unsafe than that. But now this one, I really don't know what's going on here. Like, obviously that's not natural. I have a feeling they might have Hwarunged it. You know Hwarung's down 4-4, how it's jailing now? I reckon they might have Hwarunged this string, This might be Hwarung's down 4-4 now. Like he's Tekken 8 one anyway, so if it's not launch punishable, you could just throw that out for no reason. But yeah, it looks like toast done. So interesting. We've also got the down back 4, and I was so surprised when it didn't tornado instantly. I thought they're gonna nerf this move insta tornado for the combo, but the combo's there. So if someone wants to run up and do a jab, I'll see you on the moon, man. Like that's so good for a game all about trying to be aggressive. Having a tool that takes out highs for free is really good. Maybe they'll make it more unsafe. I don't know. It's almost. I reckon they'll at the very least get rid of the silly pushback that's in Tekken 7 and make you be able to punish it every time. But yeah, it's still strong even if it's unsafe. If you have that hard read, it can be minus 30 as long as you know the jab's coming. You get a launcher, so pretty good. Now we've got the unblockable. Nothing new to see here. Back 1 being the heat engager. We've been through that. Now this. Oh my god. So this move I took the piss out of so much in Tekken 7 because they gave it to him in the most recent, the final season, as a counter hit 50 damage attack throw that he didn't need because he's got down forward 2. Now it's a 15 frame mid 30 damage regular hit. It's like Hangman said it. It's like Noctis's. Is it back 2? Noctis's a lightning string. So if this move is safe, like what the fuck? And I imagine it is. If it's it's like as soon as it's -10, it's not that good. But if it's -9, it's really good. Like huge discrepancy. Like if it's -10, just do the hop kick, bro. But if it's -9, like what the fuck? I think it's just a random 15 frame safe mid, which is crazy because you're down 3 16 frames. So if you think someone's going to duck for you down 3, you just swipe. It's crazy. And I don't know what this Oki situation is. Like, that looks kind of good, if you ask me. So if that move is safe, what the fuck? That's fucked up. It really is. Back 3, I think it's been nerfed. It looks like it does less damage because I think it sparks on hit in Tekken 7. And I also don't know if it forces crouch anymore. We might have to look up some gameplay. But we'll see. We don't know the counting situation either. Back 4 still there. So this guy retained his steel pedal with that Oki situation we just saw before. Having the steel pedal is great. It's a great move. It's, steel pedals are stupid. I don't think they flip over. I think flip over Oki. I can't remember what's going on with this game. There's so much shit that's changed, but maybe it won't flip over. I don't know. Still got the orbital as well. So if you want to check with your orbital, if you got a hard read on a low, you got a safe check. Hop kick still there too. Delay hop kick. Most people had that. Forward 3 still here. Can be also done with running 3, like in Tekken 7. Nerfed because it insta tornadoes. So unless this move is safer than -12, which it won't be, I don't see you using it that much. I think it will just be the same. Now, this one is crazy, and I still don't fully understand it. So he's retained his jet upper, 14 frame. Slight damage nerf. I think it was in the 50-55 damage realm in Tekken 7. But, yeah, this is the thing, right? There's another version, forward back 2, and what this says in the brackets is quickly. So it means inputting it fast. I don't know how fast that means. I don't know. But look what it does when you do it quickly. Blue Spark 13! Blue Spark 13. 13! Damage, still 42. So, if that is easy to do, if you know someone's going to fucking be doing hop kicks all game, you do the dash block, and you punish for 42? This must be hard to do. This must have execution, because if you can just go around 13 frame punishing shit for 42 damage, holy shit. I wonder if it can be buffered. You can definitely buffer this move. It's just, I reckon if you buffer, you're not getting the 13. You'll be getting the 14. It leaves no recoverable life too. Good question, Tree. Yeah, you're right. It just looks like it's 42 damage. So, fuck. Like, if that's easy to do, don't do unsafe shit. Does that icon mean it can remove recoverable life? Let's have a look. Good question, Tree. I'm not sure. But we can find out, because I don't want to spoil it, but he has something that takes your recoverable life, and I'm not going to spoil it, but we'll see if that move has that same icon when we get to it. We've got another change. We've got running 2. Now, this one says chip damage on block, and I think it brings your heat timer back when you hit it, when you're in heat. So, what's changed with this move? It literally comes out at like 200 kilometers an hour. Like, if you remember Tekken 7, it's just like some slow-mo. And in this game, he's like, so, yeah, 17 frames. Holy fuck. So, fucked up. Fucked up running 2. Proper running 2 on this guy now. That brings the heat timer back. Crazy. We've seen this move before. So you don't have to activate heat to do it. You can just do it, but I don't fully understand what it's for yet. We'll find out when the game comes out. 10 string hasn't changed, so you can still do 2-1-4-1 to be cheesy. Gear charge is the same. Here we go. So now we're getting into the while standing stuff. While standing 1, still 14. I wonder what it does on counter hit, because you've watched these Tekken 8 trailers, you've seen this Tekken 8 gameplay, you constantly see things like counter hit into heat engager, and Shaheen's forward 2-3 isn't a heat engager. Like, I don't know if I'm being copium here, but do not be surprised if this is plus 14 on counter hit. That's all I'm saying, because Jack does down forward 4 and he gets plus 14, and then he hits you with the former wall bounce that gives heat. So don't be surprised if this is plus 14. If it's not, just do 2-3. Don't do forward 2-3 anymore. Just do 2-3. While standing 2 is still the same. Still 16, still a lot of damage. While standing 3-3, still 13, still a lot of damage. So the punishment is still here. Wait. This is a live reaction. I didn't notice this one. Does that mean what I think? I think so. I think you can. That's ridiculous. Oh my god. Yeah, you might be able to do while sending 3 loops. He might be easy mode Nina, you never know. While sending 4 still there. Not a very good move. And they haven't given the strings, rightfully so. That'd be very fucked up. So just a little while sending 4. Now, this is egregious in so many ways. So, what formerly was his stance 4-1 is now his full crouch 4-1. And this is something that I've been wanting for, like, with Lee, right? I don't play much Lee, but the thing I liked about Lee was part of your full crouch slide mine game was that you had another low that wasn't the slide. And you could confuse people a bit, especially if their punishment for the slide float and the low is different. So it's like a different timing move. It's less committal, maybe, unless it's still negative 15. But crazy. Crazy that you can go into full crouch and do a strong low that's not the slide. Now, this isn't natural, by the way. I probably should point that out. The game makes it look like it, but it's not. That's not a hell sweep. However, you can do the first hit back into stance again. So that's crazy. Like, imagine Shaheen crouches in your face. You expect the slide. And instead, he kicks you in the shin and goes into stance. Like, that's fucked. It's really fucked. It's like a cooler version of what Lee used to be able to do. Questions I have. First hit on its own, is it launch punishable? First hit on its own into stance, is that cancelable? I don't know, but you've still got your second hit to keep them in check. And then final question, what does that second hit do on counter hit? So, it's fucked. And the classic, we're still here. The Slider Man. Slider Man Part 2 is coming to a theater near you. Slide's still here, and it looks the same. Like, I saw, spoiler alert, but I saw Lee's video, and his slide, he is not a Slider Man anymore. Like, he's out of the Sliderverse. What happened? There wasn't room for 3 slideys, I guess, because Shaheen's taken his job. And he keeps the stance in your face. So, like, this is crazy. Literally, nothing's changed. It's so good. Questions I have are: is the range reduced? I like to use this move from a range. Maybe it is. We don't know. Now, Dragonov, Sergey is right here. He's right here. Sidestep 2, 20 frame, swiping 2 punch, low, 0, force crouch, both characters. Dragonov has entered the room, and it's, 17 damage? So, like, huge. It's Dragonov's down too. Now, I was pretty hyped because it's pretty fucked up, but something came to mind that was disappointing for me, but maybe not disappointing for the viewers and a lot of people that have to deal with Shaheen. Because this is Sidestep 2, I don't think you can do Sidestep down forward 2 anymore. One of the things that's, you could sort of brain dead spam with Shaheen is low minus, Sidestep down forward 2 check. It was really easy to do that. Can't do that so much anymore. So you might have to, it's hard to punish the jabs with down forward 2. However, if you sidewalk, I'm sure you can still check. So maybe the game plan, if you have a hard read on the timing or something, sidewalk down forward 2. Got to build that muscle memory, but a lot of those, I don't think anyone has tested that in T8 as a mechanic, but we'll get to test it tomorrow because the demo comes out, so we can see if, do any of those characters have sidestep moves? Nina, we can try like Nina or something. But yeah, Tekken 8 demo 4 characters coming out tomorrow. So yeah, huge low. Like, that's another thing I love to do with, like, one of the things I like to enforce with Shaheen is sometimes if I want to step, I step, see if anything came out, and then if nothing comes out, I like to challenge you and make you guess. So with Shaheen, right, you could do down forward 1 if it's in the game, low minus, step, and then if nothing comes out, you just press 2, bang, you swipe their legs. So strong. I used to do that with the slide. I'll still do it with the slide, obviously, but yeah, potential, no sidestep down forward 2, no sidestep back 2. Like Wowzer said, no, it would be the same logic, right? It wouldn't work. No sidestep down 2 if you wanted to do that. So, yeah, unless you can. And in that case, then it's fucked. He's still got his back turn too, but it does a more brutal looking animation and looks like more damage. You very rarely get in a situation where you can use that move, but at least you got a back turn move. Cool. So now into more juicy stuff. His stance moves. So he's only still got stealth step, no new stances. We've got the one, still 12 frames, so nothing's changed. And I assume on counter hit it does something, because if it doesn't, this move's pointless. So is it plus 14? Are they that toxic? Who knows? Probably not, because this move's ridiculously strong, and even stronger now because you have so many moves your opponent will want to press on from this stance. And we'll see them now. Stance 2, also here, still 15, I believe that's how it always was. If it still has the high evasion, then these two moves are your quick checks, to keep your opponent in check for pressing fast buttons against your stance. So you still have these options. However, his catalog now, as you're going to see, is so much greater. We still have the stance 3. This was particularly good for... It's not really good for using as a raw mix-up, but there's more incentive to do it now, and you'll see why. But I used to use this move a lot for catching people, like doing down jabs, because down jabbing this stance is really strong. It was really good for doing beating people who did that. But other than that, it's nothing crazy. Now, here we go. Sliding shave. What is this? Is it that spinny low that he does after the slide in Tekken 7? No, because that's on the full crouch. They've given him something new. They have given him a 20 frame just go fuck yourself. 17 damage plus 3 force crouch. What on earth is going on in the Bandai Namco office? He does not need that. He does not need that. 2-3 into this shit. And we don't know what it does on counter hit. Like, I don't know, but crazy overkill low that he doesn't need. It is in that 20 frame range, so if you're really looking for it, and I'm not talking about reacting to an animation, I'm talking about just looking and ducking as soon as someone presses something, you'll be able to block this move. But going back, that 3, the surfboard kick, is 20 frames too. So if you really wanted to, you could try and force a mix-up. And then we've also got 19 on the safe version, on your, well, what I assume is safe. 19 on your heat engager. And on top of that, we've got, so this is, I just realized this is 15. So this would, oh fuck, I hadn't thought about this one. This one's freestyled. So sneak 2, let's spell it out. In Tekken 7, down 3 into stance is plus 4. So when you've got 15, the only thing you lose to is jabs, and you trade with 11. And we all know 11's not as scary in this game anymore. So if your opponent tries to check you here, bang, bang, mid-high, 52! 52, if that's natural, which I assume it is. And you're probably thinking that's garbage. Well, guess what? It's Tekken 8, baby! You saw this coming. There's a mid! There's a mid on that shit. So, good luck. Good luck pressing on the stance now. 20 frames on the high. And 27 on the mid. So, fuzzyable. Fuzzyable. So, get your fuzzy on. Get your fuzzy on. You're going to have to fuzzy guard that move. My question is, that chop, when you do it on its own, what is that? That's going to be important. What the chop is by itself. Dying to know that, but we'll never know for a while. Now, this change is fucking cooked, and here's why. Input for this throw in Tekken 7 is down forward 1+4, right? Solely because of that move, I ran a 1+4 keybind. I ran a 1+4 bind. So in that sense, it's fucked up, because now I don't have to run a 1+4 bind anymore. I can save that for something else. I was really concerned about how my binds were going to be in this game, because there's so many extra things, but I don't have to have the bind anymore because it's 1+2. But what's really fucked up about it is the input is up forward, not down forward. And what that means is that you can do this shit from crouch. So if you wanted to, you can do down 3, grab. if you wanted to, you can go into crouch, crouch walk, and grab. Like, the possibilities with his full crouch game are even more endless when you have a grab from it. And that's good in Tekken 7. Tekken 8, allegedly, if they don't change things, the grabs are homing, and when you get counter hit by them, they're borderline impossible to break. So imagine Shaheen's crouch walking in front of you, and then you go to press and he fucking does the grab. Imagine he does down 3, you go to step the string, and he does the homing grab. Like, that's all I'm thinking about with this guy. Very interesting shenanigans happening here. So, huge change. It looks like nothing, but that change is huge in my opinion. Now, holy mother of God. This move, when I first saw it, I thought, this is absolute dog water. Yet it's still better than his Tekken 7 version. In Tekken 7, you get a very unfavorable mix-up for hitting the punch parry. In Tekken 8, you get 15 damage. And I thought to myself, whoop-de-fucking-do, 15 damage. That's garbage. Until I read something and then confirmed it in footage, when you hit someone with this parry, if they have recoverable life, it's gone. All of it. It just chops the whole thing off. So if they've got like half their life bar in recoverable health, and you parry them, it just blows it away. It's all gone. It's just crazy. Like, it is absolutely fucked. And yeah, Tree, I think you're right then if you're still around, because if we take a close look at the symbol, it's a bit blurry, but it looks it's a life bar getting cut. See, it's like getting cut. So what the fuck? Like, imagine doing your full juggle, and then they tech roll, and they've got a bunch of recoverable life from the juggle, and then you down forward one, and then they just it just chops their whole life bar apart. That's fucked. That is so fucking unfair. Let's talk about how I'm gonna start playing this game. The way I play Shaheen in Tekken 7 currently is I use a lot of slide. I challenge it. I'll do it from point blank to mix you up. I'll do it from full screen to keep you in check with your movement. And if you start ducking for it, I'll run in and I can mix up and all of that. But his mix-ups aren't strong without the crouch. In Tekken 8, when you enforce those sort of mind games from the full screen with the slide, when you run in, you have huge moves now. Like, I can force you to behave on this side and then run in and back 2 check or something like that. Like, shit like that is fucked up. So that's one thing to think about. Now you got to think about how to use his heat. His heat doesn't seem particularly strong in the passives. I could be wrong, but he's like what I call heat passives, like for example how Mishimas get free electrics or Kazuya gets all these devil moves. Like, Shaheen doesn't stand out. He's sort of got that buff to that one move that doesn't even look good. I could be wrong. And then the only other thing he gets is if you hit running 2, forward back 2, or up forward 1, you get more time to keep going. So the real game plan really is using those main moves, but also using your 2 heat smashes in the mix-up situations, because they make his mix-up situations way, way, way more scary. You'll be able to go into full crouch and have a 50 damage plus mid as your slide mix-up. You'll be able to go into stance and have a 40-something damage hell sweep from your fucking heat engager dash mix-up. Like, it's messed up. And one more thing I'll experiment with, but I don't think it'll be super good, is think about this. Shaheen activates heat, and the chip damage starts to build up from all the pokes, like poke, 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 and big move, big move. You chip away their life bar, and then they retaliate, parry, gone. Just chop it all off. Like, that's another way you could play as well. So those are things that I've been thinking about and stuff you could enforce. What else is there? On top of that, his stance, depending on the safety of moves, like, the stance doesn't just have to be slide anymore. Playing Tekken 7, it got very repetitive. You had to commit to the slide to win. you have to slide. You have to slide. You have to put your life on the line and risk getting floated every time. But not anymore. I can choose to do the low or the heat engager. I can. It's a lot more threatening timing options that I have. And on top of that, his full crouch game is still the same when you have the while standing one likely counter hit. You still have your hop kick. You still have all the moves you need, and you have a new low from full crouch to mix with a slide. So you don't have to commit to the slide. You can commit to that move. And imagine the mental stack breakdown you can do of your opponent when you go into full crouch and they're expecting you've activated heat, you go into full crouch, they're expecting the giant mid, and then you sweep them with the low leg kick into the stance, and now they have to remember, fuck, now the one I have to worry about is the low heat smash. So imagine that. Full crouch, I'm scared of mid heat smash. You full crouch, you bait them, you do the little kick into stance, and now they have to fucking worry about the low one. Like, you can do shit like that to overload your opponent as well. So Shaheen's looking so good. The counter hit game with the 4-1 gone, not as strong, but 1-2-3, remember, 1-2-3 by proxy is so much stronger because you have these terrifying mix-up tools after stealth step. So he's going to be very strong. 1-2-3 fishing, I think, is going to be huge. And your mix-up game is next level. As I said, unfortunately, we haven't seen the down forward one, but as long as that's -1, you can still go and play traditional Shaheen by just poking and moving around, but you have all these tools now. So yeah, it's crazy. It's really just Tekken 7 Shaheen with huge mids, better stance mix-ups, and more flexibility on his overall 50-50 game, and some bigger lows. So it's oh my god, it's something else. It's crazy. It's basically, look, most people are aware that, I'm a bit of a, purist. I love the movement and the chilling out and the, don't not being too aggro, but I've come to accept that Tekken 8's taking a new direction. And it's not all bad. I still like some of it. So to see Shaheen, I was prepped for like Jack 8 when I was ready to watch this shit. I was ready to see Jack 8, but to see just Shaheen has just come back. He's just himself. He's just a bit more Tekken 80, but he's not even stupid. Like, oh my god, it's everything I've ever wanted.